Good afternoon, Prime Minister, Your Excellencies, Madame Justice, Your Worship, and esteemed fellows. My name is Carol Sad. I'm Vice President of Events for the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. Bon après-midi, Premier Ministre, Vos Excellences, Madame la Juge, Monsieur le Maire et honorables fellows. Mon nom est Carol Sad, je suis vice-présidente des événements pour la Société géographique royale du Canada. Welcome to Canada's Centre for Geography and Exploration, located on the unceded territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin peoples. Bienvenue au Centre de la géographie et de l'exploration, situé sur le territoire non cédé des peuples Anishinaabe et Algonquin. We're very honored to have you join us for the official opening of 50 Sussex, headquarters of the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. Nous sommes honorés de vous compter parmi nous ici au 50 Sussex, les bureaux de la Société géographique royale du Canada. J'aimerais maintenant accueillir sur la scène le chef de la direction de la SGRC, John Geiger. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Chief Executive Officer of the Royal Canadian Geographical Society, John Geiger.
Thank you, Carol. I'd like to welcome everyone to 50 Sussex, the new home and official headquarters of the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. The Royal Geographical Society in London has Lowther Lodge. The National Geographic Society in Washington, D.C. has Hubbard Hall. And now we join the ranks of our cousin organizations in a historical move to 50 Sussex on the banks of the Ottawa River in our country's capital. So. Of course, this move would not have been possible without support from our incredible donors, many of whom are standing in this room with us today, as well as our partners at the National Capital Commission. And I know Toby Nussbaum from the Commission is here. Thank you so much to all of you for your help. It's with the help of these individuals, not only have we been able to create groundbreaking educational resources and impressive new RCGS programming, but we have opened the doors to the public for exciting events such as last summer's exhibit series featuring paintings by RCGS fellow Chris Cran, who's also here with us today. And you'll see his paintings through the building. Because of donors like you, the RCGS has created a foundational hub for geography, exploration, and education. We welcome your continued support. We're also joined today by a number of very special guests. I welcome you all and thank you for joining us for this historic event. I'd now like to welcome to the stage award-winning author, intrepid ethnographer, ethnobotanist, best-selling author, award-winning author, filmmaker, lecturer, intrepid explorer, RCGS Honorary Vice President, Wade Davis. Wade, who really needs no introduction.
Well, thank you very much, John, and Prime Minister, we're so honored that you could be here with us. It means so much to this society. And I'd like to just a special note about John Geiger. Those of you who know the history of this organization will know that it's John's child. What he's done to revitalize this vital Canadian institution is so extraordinary that we owe you so much, John, honestly. You know, the British travel writer Jan Morris once said you could drown with niceness in Canada. And what had happened, she had bumped into a fellow in Vancouver, and of course, what did the Vancouver fellow say? I'm sorry. And what Jan didn't understand is that the phrase I'm sorry in Canada is not an apology, it's mantra. It's a way of saying you and I, we've lived in this country for all of our history. There are more lakes and people for much of that history. We get along with each other because the winter hovers in our imagination, defines the essence of our national soul, and you didn't want to whack me, I didn't want to get whacked by you, and so I'm sorry. You're actually apologizing for the moment. And I think there's a critical thing about Canada, our landscape, the whispered messages of the wild. Why the most perfect expression of Canadian patriotism is that wonderful line of verse from Jules Verne, Mon pays n'est pas un pays, c'est l'hiver. My country is not a country, it's the winter. And so standing here within sight of habitations that date back 5,000 years along the waterway where the Cour de Bois broke open a continent, and to have this vital institution given this jewel of a building right at the heart of our national capital literally moves a Canadian to tears. And I'm so grateful to be a part of this organization and to have the honor now to introduce a man who's done so much to help not just this institution, but the National Geographic, every institution that services the needs of children, education, and above all, geographical literacy, our honorary president, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Wade. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. As honorary president of the Society, it's a great honor for me to be able to welcome you here today for this very special occasion in the 90-year history of the Royal Canadian Geographical Society, because for the first time in that history, the Society will have a permanent home right here in the heart of our national capital on one of the prime avenues, traffic-filled avenues, as the Prime Minister discovered on his way over here a little while ago. Now, if I may, it's a great day for the Society, but for me also, it's a great day. It's the culmination of a fantastic 2 weeks, and if you'll permit me, I'd like to explain. It started with an interview I did on Good Morning America with Robin Roberts, a cancer survivor, an interview which somehow caught fire in the minds of the public because it was an injection of realism into the discussions we have about cancer, and also it had a great element of hope. Now, the very next day, something totally different. I was in Boston. I was inducted as an honorary member of the Harvard Lampoon. And they have contributed much to the humor in North America for over a century. And God knows we need humor in this day and age. The next day, I was back in California I was asked to be a speaker at the Purple Pride Walkathon. It was a fundraiser at the Los Angeles Zoo. It attracted about 2,500 people, including 50 pancreatic cancer survivors. We raised over $800,000, and those monies will go to cancer research and also, especially, to support families and the caregivers who look after them and who do not have the funds to manage successfully with that. The following day, the American Academy of Television Arts and Sciences awarded me my 7th Emmy, and 2 days after that, I had what I hope will be my last chemotherapy treatment. I got to tell you, that stuff really kicks the slats out of you, but 2 days after that, I had the honor of escorting the most beautiful person I know, my beautiful wife, Jean, to a Mother's Day Eve dinner. And then yesterday morning, I was one of the featured guests on the Emmy Award-winning CBS Sunday morning program with Jane Pauley. And now today, this afternoon, I'm here for this very special dedication with the Prime Minister of Canada. Hey, guys. My cup runneth over. That's a lot of stuff. But, and there's always a but, isn't there? There are no Canadian teams left in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Grand dommage. Peut-être l'année prochaine. On espère. But thank God for the Raptors. Yeah. All right? Now, setting this date was not easy. As you can all imagine, the Prime Minister's schedule is a very busy one. There were construction delays here, but oddly enough, the agreement was made right about the time I made my announcement regarding my health. And the Prime Minister was very kind. He was one of the very first to send a note of good wishes and prayers to me in California. And I responded with a thank you note, and it was very brief, and I said I was looking forward to being here today with him and all of you, but also I wanted to keep it light. And I said, you know, this is going to be an easy gig for you. My gosh, you live 2 doors away. if your security detail allows you, just walk over, do the thing, and walk back home, relax for a bit, have a nice early dinner with your family, and then watch Jeopardy together. Now, I know some of you think that Trebek never misses an opportunity to get a plug-in for his show, but this time there is a reason for that. Because, now, many of you have been watching Jeopardy James. He's on a 2-week vacation because right now we are in the middle of our annual salute to teachers, our teachers tournament. The Prime Minister, as you know, was once a teacher. But there's more than just that connection. The Society has a great mission, but I think one of the ways in which it fulfills its mission most effectively is with its student outreach program. It has developed relationships with 23,000 teachers and volunteers all across the country to act basically as a cheerleader for Canada, to make us know about our country and to make us love our country even more. The country is so big. We are a welcoming society, so there is a great diversity of ethnicity in the country. We can feel isolated, but the Society, working with these teachers, has narrowed it down. They send volunteers into school gymnasiums. They put a map of the country that's the size of this room. Kids can walk from one end of the country to the other. They can feel they belong. They stand on their hometowns. So all of that, and I should point out that, again, the connection, the Prime Minister has a degree in environmental geography, okay? So it's entirely appropriate that he should be here today with us. Now, Wade has already thanked John Geiger for all the work that he has done in bringing this together. John Geiger started, interestingly enough, looking for a home, a permanent home for the Society under the previous administration, the Harper administration. It came about when the discovery of the Erebus, the Franklin ship, was undertaken. And as all of you know, because this is a political city, when the government changes, quite often the incoming people look at programs that the previous government has supported and they say, let's put a hold on that. But when I visited with the Prime Minister 18 months ago in his office, on the day that we signed the lease for this building here, he knew all about it. He was in favor. He did not make any changes whatsoever, to his great credit. So as I invite him to the microphone, I would like you folks to join me in thanking him for his courage, his wisdom, and his foresight. The Prime Minister.
Bonjour tout le monde. C'est fantastique d'être ici à l'inauguration officielle du nouveau siège social de la Société géographique royale du Canada aux 50 promenades Sussex. Merci Alex pour cette introduction. Alex, you've brought the pursuit of knowledge into Canadians' everyday lives as people gather around the TV each night to test their trivia skills. For every memorable moment on the show, millions more were made in living rooms around the world. And I can tell you this with certainty because, well, those of you who remember my father might know that he wasn't a big fan of his kids watching television. Indeed, we got about a half hour a week in general, except one exception was made, that when we got home from school, we were allowed to watch Jeopardy. And it became such a part of our routine that my brothers and I established a complicated system of scoring so we could actually, if we shouted out the answer before the contestant did, we got the point for that question, and you'd accumulate points, and you could actually gamble the points at the end of the show. If you got the right, it was remarkable. I consistently won, but only to my younger brother Sasha's tremendous chagrin, because I was a faster reader, and I wasn't allowed to finish reading the question before you finished reading the question. And it was an advantage that I had, but it was a part of my life growing up, and it enamored me not just with trivia, but with knowing the answers to as many things as I possibly could, pursuit that served me well through the rest of my life. So I know I speak on behalf of all Canadians, Alex, when I say thank you for everything you have done and everything you continue to do. You are a national treasure, and we are so lucky to have you. I also want to recognize some other folks who are here today who've helped Canadians get excited about learning and discovery, something that, as Alex mentioned, as a former teacher, is near and dear to my heart. Roberta Bondar inspired Canadians to look to the skies and young women to reach for the stars. On a personal note, Dr. Joe McGuinness is here tonight. Joe is on the board of the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. He was a dear friend of my father's, and he is probably the only living human being that I call my mentor. He is someone who has taught me more about leadership than just about anyone else on this planet, alive or dead. And my relationship with him is one that I cherish above just about all others. He taught me to explore, he taught me to dream, he taught me to push my limits, and mostly he taught me to love every moment that I am blessed to be in. And to be here with you tonight, Joe, and to be able to say this in front of everyone is really extraordinary. Thank you, Joe, for everything that you have made me into. Of course, Wade Davis brought us closer to our world here on Earth. His book, Into the Silence, encouraged a generation of readers to follow the spirit of exploration and research, the same values that drive the Royal Canadian Geographical Society's work to make Canada better known to Canadians and to the world. Thank you, Wade, for all your leadership. For 90 years, this society has shared Canada's most beautiful places with folks of every age, whether through the iconic Canadian Geographic magazine or by supporting the discoveries of people like Adam Schultz, whose book, Alone Against the North, I read a couple of years ago. And when we talk about the beautiful parts of the country, we have to remember there are mosquitoes and black flies there too. And reminding us of that in inimicable fashion was something Adam did as he discovered lost northern rivers. In fact, I had the chance to sit down with Adam last year, and we talked about the magic of seeing our country from the stern of a canoe and the importance of protecting our wild spaces for today and for generations to come. And on that front, there's no time to waste. Just last week, a new report from the United Nations found that around 1 million species are facing extinction. My friends, Canada has a responsibility to act. This country is home to so much of the world's forests, waters, and wildlife, something that's as part of our identity as anything else as Canadians. So our government is continuing to step up. We put a price on the pollution that causes climate change, and we're creating new marine protected areas to safeguard our oceans. We've made the largest ever investment in Canadian nature conservation and are supporting Parks Canada so that everyone can get out there and explore our great outdoors. Et bien sûr, nous ne sommes pas seuls pour faire ce travail. La Société géographique royale du Canada est un chef de file dans la lutte pour protéger l'environnement. Il suffit de regarder le travail qui s'accomplit ici à la Société pour aider les jeunes à en apprendre plus sur les changements climatiques et les technologies d'efficacité énergétique. L'inauguration aujourd'hui ne consiste pas simplement à célébrer l'ouverture d'un nouvel édifice, elle consiste à ouvrir un nouveau chapitre. Un monde de possibilités nous attend et je sais que nous sommes prêts pour la prochaine aventure. Thank you all, but for now, let me invite Alex up to come back and join me. You call it. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. This plaque was unveiled by me and Alex Trebek, Order of Canada, Officer of the Order of Canada, Royal Canadian Geographical Society Honorary President, on the 13th of May, 2019, to commemorate the official opening of 50 Sussex Drive, Canada's centre for Geography and Exploration.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So we'd like to thank you all for joining us today as we open 50 Sussex, the home of the Royal Canadian Geographical Society. So please stay with us, mingle, there's food and drinks. For those of you who'd like to stay on for the second portion of our celebration, we will begin the presentations in the Alex Trebek Theatre at about 6 o'clock. So thank you very much and enjoy.